Hi everyone, I'm Shay, naturopath and owner of the Wellness Emporium, and welcome to Ways to Wellness. Today we are on a new topic, still sticking with hormones, but today we are talking about PMS or premenstrual syndrome. It occurs during the week before menstruation and generally subsides on the onset of your period or a couple of days into it. Although approximately 75% of women experience some degree of PMS, it should not be considered as normal or a normal part of menstruation, especially where it is debilitating. PMDD, I did mention that briefly on the post, is a less common, however, extremely severely debilitating form of PMS. But today we're just focusing on just general PMS. What causes it? So the increased levels of hormones like progesterone and estrogen produced at this time is thought to be responsible of symptoms of PMS. So these imbalances can cause this PMS type symptom. Other contributing risk factors are things like stress. Stress is actually considered to be one of the biggest contributors of PMS because it results in hormonal imbalances. Detoxification, so proper excretion of hormones via the gut and liver is crucial to hormonal imbalances. And when your liver is not working properly or when your gut is not functioning effectively, then you're going to result in hormonal imbalances. And I have talked about this before in regards to not like just the simple thing of not moving your bowels at least once a day. Because if you are not having a bowel movement at least once a day, where do you think all these toxins and food toxins that we get from our outer environment, but also the toxins we make within our internal environment, and that includes hormones. We need to detoxify those through our bowels. So making sure the gut and liver is working effectively, and that is why I generally start with gut and liver work when we're working with hormonal imbalances. Weight is another issue. Research has shown excess body fat increases the risk of PMS by nearly threefold. Nutritional deficiencies such as vitamin B6, magnesium, calcium, iodine, zinc, and essential fatty acids may increase the severity of symptoms experienced when you see these deficiencies. So other factors, so they're the main ones, and they're the really main ones I focus on looking at in clinic, but a number of other things we go through are things like personal or family history of depression, mood disorders, anxiety, bipolar disorder. That is also important as well. History of postpartum depression, high consumption of caffeine, salt, chocolate, tobacco, and or alcohol as well is another contributor. History of other reproductive disorders, so looking at PCOS, endometriosis, uterine fibroids, all the conditions we've actually spoken about over the last few months. Poor blood glucose regulation, so insulin resistance, often you see that in PCOS as well. Poor lymphatic function, high glycemic load diet, dysbiosis and leaky gut, so coming back to that gut, increased toxic load for a number of reasons, and disordered estrogen metabolism as well, so looking at what's causing that disordered estrogen metabolism. So what are the signs and symptoms? Now, if you have experienced PMS, all you women that are listening to this, or even partners, you would know the common signs and symptoms, and they vary from from people to people, person to person. So the common ones are often emotional and mood related. So things like irritability, anxiety, low mood, sadness, weepiness. Some people experience the other end, so that aggression and anger and frustration. So they're all very common symptoms. The most common physical symptoms include fluid retention, weight gain, abdominal bloating, breast tenderness and swelling, acne, food cravings, yes, that chocolate kick in, brain fog and sleep disturbances are all common physical symptoms of PMS. Other symptoms that may also occur include bowel changes. So I often see Some women will get more either constipated or more looser stools. You might also experience nausea around that time, more fatigue, because generally leading up to your period you're going to bleed, so you notice that drop in energy at that time. Headaches, migraines, backaches, cramps are quite common as well. Insomnia, as I mentioned before, so sleep pattern changes you may notice around that time. Changes in appetite, decreased or increased libido, it can vary. Inability to concentrate at that time, loss of interest, and that could all play a role with deficiencies as well. Joint and muscle pain, skin disorders, so whether it might be acne that flares up, or your oily skin flares up, or your eczema might flare up. Palpitations, so connection to anxiety there. And also you'll see recurrent infections, vaginal infections, whether it may be thrush or bacterial vaginosis, or outbreaks with herpes can go with those types of PMS symptoms as well. So that's it for today. Join me next week as we delve into the diet and lifestyle recommendations for PMS.